Good morning. Today we're going to take a drive to Superior, Arizona. And I figured on the way we might catch a little bit of what it's like to drive on the 202 Loop East out in Mesa, Arizona, and then we'll come along the base of the Superstition Mountains. Then we'll run along out to a place called Canyon, where there's a lot of hiking trails, really famous ones. It's a very busy spot for hikers, for bicyclists, ATVers. It's right at the border of the Tonto National Forest. So thanks for joining me. If you haven't had a chance already to subscribe to the channel, please do. We are growing like crazy, and I'll turn the music down. And this is the first time I've taken you guys live with me in the car, so I'm kind of excited about it. Usually I have some audio work to do afterward, but we can just consider this almost a live broadcast. It is real time. And we're going to take a scenic drive out to the extreme east valley of Metro Phoenix. You can totally see over on the right hand side Superstition coming into view. And then in the far background you may be able to see the famous Four Peaks Mountains, which are part of the Mogollon Rim, which I learned when we moved out to the Arizona area, is actually almost a giant plateau that you climb up out of Phoenix and head up the mountains, and you end up on this giant plateau. It's called the Mogollon Rim, and it's got a lot of really striking landscapes, Tonto National Forest, hiking trails, and lots of dirt roads that run throughout that area. We're going to jump on Highway 60 here in a couple miles and head east. You can see it off in the distance on the left-hand side, Signal Butte. Signal Butte is this really cool looking mountain or hill, butte, I guess. Yeah, exactly, butte. And I think the history is about that is that it was used to create some of the meridians that are used for the grid pattern that Phoenix is built on. I don't know, I find that stuff fascinating. So all the streets, the major streets in the Phoenix metro area are in a grid pattern going north-south or east-west. That's pretty cool. And as I say that, we're going to bend here on Loop 202. I don't know if you guys have been out to Arizona anytime recently, but as you'll be able to see, East Mesa, Apache Junction, out to Gold Canyon and beyond is growing like crazy. You know what else is growing like crazy? Shameless plug, the channel. So if you get a chance, if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe. The channel's growing. These videos are fun to make. I'm going to continue to experiment, to try to bring some interesting content, especially right now, right? With the weather and the East Coast being so bad, and here I am driving and there's not a cloud in the sky. It is 50 degrees. Crazy. But yeah, if you get a chance, subscribe to the channel, click the like button on this video, check out the other videos on DeweysWorld, and if you click the notification bell, you will stay up to date on the latest videos that are coming out. This is one of my favorite moments when I'm coming onto the 60. If you look, that view is incredible. That mountain climbs to around 4,500 elevation off the valley floor. It is a striking view from this part of town. That you'll notice as we come up on this rise here is just how expansive Apache Junction, East Mesa is, all the way down to Pinal County, which is a smaller county in population, but butts right up against the larger Maricopa County where Phoenix is. But my point really is, this place can grow as fast as it has water. It's fascinating. There's so much open space. Over here is a really popular area for snowbirds. On the right-hand side, there's one of the largest swap meets, outdoor swap meets in Arizona. Mostly open on the weekends from like 7 to 3. It is a very popular destination for, as I mentioned, for snowbirds, Canadians who in most years would be in town. Look at that view right there. With the lighting, I'm hoping it's picking up the levels of the mountains. You've got about 4 different elevations and levels of mountains as it goes up towards Payson, which is a small town, and then out to New Mexico, which is actually out in the direction we're heading right now. If we were, as a crow flies, if we stayed on this path, we would eventually end up in New Mexico. We're at the end of Maricopa County now and entering Pinal County, as I mentioned. Smaller county, stretches south and then a little bit west along I-10. A lot of geography, just not as many people. National Guard trucks are, at least right now, a mainstay on the road. They are actively involved in the vaccination process here in Arizona, and the large pods of vaccinations that are happening are really being supported by the National Guard troops. So thanks to them, and it's fascinating to see how it's all unfolding. Another great shot of Superstition Mountains, and you might even be able to see some of the contrast in the lighting. It's just gorgeous. So if we were to have gotten off there, and we'll go up there one time, I really want to check it out, but the Goldfield ghost town is at the base of the Superstition Mountains. It's near the Lost Dutchman Park, as well as Elvis's church, which just seems really fascinating to go around that area and check it out. I know other YouTubers, like Traveling Robert, for example, is one that comes to mind, has a couple of different times been out to Goldfield. He's done a really nice, comprehensive video of that area. I think he's eaten at one of the restaurants there in the ghost town, and he's been all over that space, so I enjoy his videos. Another shameless plug, not sponsored. my mind. You take it for granted living here, but when you get out, especially at this time of day, where the shadows and light contrast. Let's see if I can take a cool video with, I'm going to use a couple of other cameras. I'm going to splice those in right here. Just use my Instago 360, not sponsored, but I do love this little camera. If you haven't checked it out, you should Google it. It's about the size of like half the size of a Sharpie, and it only films in 30-second bursts. It's 1080p at this point, so it's not full 4K. But the fact that it's so small, so easy to use, it also has a gimbal on it that you can literally flip it in circles, and the gimbal stays steady balanced. Yeah, check. It's a great camera. All right, so we're sort of shifting southeast now, heading more towards like Tucson and area. If I had to put it in as a crow flies, like if we stayed on here, we'd end up on a little bit east of Tucson, in the direction we're going now. The other thing I always notice, it's just fascinating to me. Here we are on a historic highway in the middle of nowhere, and the traffic on this road is going to be, you know, very evident. And I just think it's fascinating. Every place in the Phoenix metro area right now, it just, so many people are in town, moving to the area. I think, not for nothing, but Phoenix was just this morning was rated as the #1 destination for people moving within the continental United States. So we're just seeing more and more folks coming into town, which is great for the economy and for the area. But as someone who drives a lot, and you guys come along with, that can mean a lot of congestion on the roads. Stop fast here, so you can tell we're on a bit of a highway. And this is an area here where Gold Canyon, where there's a lot of RV parks. There's some really nice houses and some seasonal temporary areas for folks to come out who want to spend, say, half the year here in their RV out in the open. Have you been to the East Valley of Arizona? If you have, or if you have a destination that you want us to head out to and you want me to film, put in the comments below, because I am having so much fun driving out to recommended destinations. And that's what today was about. One of our viewers actually suggested coming out this direction and just filming it and seeing what we can see. So today's video, we're going to go, as I mentioned earlier, along the 60. Then we're going to head up to Superior. I'm going to spend some time there today, and then we're going to go into Globe, Miami, which is, believe it or not, Miami, Arizona, not Miami, Florida. A small town up in the mountains, just about an hour and a half east of Queen Creek. Really nice houses on the left here. Let me do a little bit of... So with my 360, I'm filming what we're looking on the side, and I'll tell you what, to be able to live in a really spacious house on probably up to a quarter-acre lot that backs up right to the base of the Superstition Mountains, that would be really cool. tire and style, models open. So over on the right hand side is a retirement community, which speaks to my earlier point as we entered Gold Canyon. This is an area where, you know, it used to feel very far out. If you know anything about Gold Canyon, King's Ranch, or this area, leave a comment below. Tell us what you know, because I'm not an expert, but I do know that over the last 5 years or so, this went from being an area out in the desert, kind of a hidden gem, you know, saguaros, mountains, you had housing, and you had, you know, some of the amenities you would expect in a town, but it's really remote, to now it's right there. You know, we're just maybe 5 miles away from big brand shopping, car dealerships, grocery stores, houses. It's fascinating to see how fast it's grown out here. But why not? I mean, if you look, it's gorgeous, it's spacious. You know, you can't blame people for wanting to be out here. But the side view coming off the car goes right out to the cliffs of Superstition Mountains. It is very striking. And then there's those houses we were just talking about. So Peralta Trailhead. So here's one of the more famous hikes. And then we're going to open up on the left. I believe there's going to be some areas where you'll be able to see campers, where they're out here. You know, I don't know if it's full hookups or if it's boondocking. I mean, you can definitely look that up if you're interested, but you do see campers just popping up right out of the middle of the desert here. Prior to 2020, there was a large space out in the desert where they would have a Renaissance Festival. Right here on the right hand side is that spot. They've got structures built up. It's called the Artisan Marketplace. It's open on Saturdays and Sundays, and the buildings are built out, permanent, relatively permanent structures. I mean, they're built out of wood and bricks, and there's grandstands and so forth. And yeah, they do jousting, battling. If you've ever been to the Renaissance Festival in the Phoenix area, leave a comment below. I've never gotten to head out that direction and get out there, and it didn't go on last year, and word is it won't be happening this year. So yeah, leave a comment below if you've had a chance to go to the Renaissance Festival in Phoenix. The camera doesn't do it justice. Off to our right and back a ways is the Santan Mountains. Over to our right over there is I-8 near Casa Grande and Eloy, which we'll head down to at some point on our small town drives. And then straight ahead are the mountains of Marana and Oracle, and that's where like Biosphere is, and then Oro Valley for north of Tucson. Like all of the Tucson area is pretty much straight ahead. And then on the left is some of the superstitions, and then sort of heading into the larger mountain range behind it. Anyway, I love driving out in the desert, because your natural tendency is to just want to be looking at what's around you, the trees and the cactus, but you really can get a sense of the space, right? I mean, sometimes on a clear day you can see, I would wonder if you can't see south almost to Mexico. Guys had an opportunity to check out the other videos on DeweysWorld. If you haven't, please do leave comments and let me know what you think of those. This is we're really trying to build a community, and it's going great. And I think I just love getting feedback from you guys around what's working, what isn't working. I love that too. So if you don't like something, or if you want something to be different, that's great. If I'm talking too much, or if you don't like the music in the background, or depending, whatever you like, don't like, leave it on there. Leave a comment. Let's talk about it. I think it's been a lot of fun. We're growing. I think we're coming up on 200 subscribers, which isn't bad considering that, you know, what we're doing now is driving and talking and exploring, right? So if you haven't subscribed, please do take the opportunity to subscribe. Click the like button, the bell. And if you have subscribed, have left a comment, thank you. Hopefully you guys can see the saguaro cactus on the distance. It's just almost, there's just a lot of them. I don't want to say it's a forest, but there's definitely a lot of cactus, especially on the left. Middle of the desert, and there's a sign telling us 18 minutes to Superior. Right out here is where 60 runs all the way through downtown. It'll take us, if we were going west, it would take us all the way out to California and beyond. I think it even runs through sections of Southern California and dumps you off somewhere downtown LA. But for here, this is where it sort of forks, and then you can take 79 south to Tucson, but we're going to go 60 up into the mountains. So this is about where we're going to bend away from the desert, as you can see, all the way down there to Tucson and Marana, maybe even down to, you know, Gallus and further. And we're going to bend into some of the most beautiful mountains in the Phoenix metro area. Yet, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click the like button and the bell. It'll keep you up to date on the latest videos. Thank you so much for coming along as we drove down 60 on our way to Superior, and be sure to check out the next episode of Dewey's World as we head up into the mountains of Gila County, driving through Superior, Globe, Miami, and part 2 of our desert drives. These videos are so fun to make, and I so appreciate you coming along. So thank you for all your likes, for your follows, for your comments, and as always, thanks for watching.